What does over 6 years of collecting empty whiskey bottles look like?
It looks like this.
Let's talk about what we can do with them. And how do we get out?
It's a good question.
So how did we get from this to this?
Well, that's a story about 10 years in the making.
So you guys gotta be thinking, surely you guys had a plan for all of these bottles all along that you were saving. No, Chad just can't throw away bottles, and that's how it started.
Let me explain. The year was 2000 and something, and I was just getting into bourbon. This picture is from February of 2014, and you can already see that some of these bottles are empty.
Oh, look at that cute little collection.
So this is about 1 year before It's Bourbon Night became a thing. There's about 50 bottles here. So I would show people my bottles and they'd be like, wow, you've got a serious collection.
Little did they know what was going to happen.
Yeah. And I guess it was pretty decent considering some smaller liquor stores only have about 50 bourbons to choose from or less. 1 year after that, the collection looked like this. And I'm sure that's only showing the ones that would fit on the new stair-step display that I built. And a short 5 years later, it would look like this.
Now we really started racking up bottles about 6 years ago in 2016 when the show took off. And we didn't have anything in mind to do with them at that point in time. We were just kind of saving them on autopilot mode. We didn't want to throw them away, except we did have the intention of making this little bottle light fixture back here.
That's right, and I don't know, maybe we thought we would make more of these. I really don't know, but we just kept saving them. And the pendant lights, or whatever, hanging lights, whatever you want to call them back here, is the first time that we ever upcycled a bottle.
And in case you're not familiar with upcycling, it's the act of taking something no longer in use and giving it a second life and new function.
In 2018, we started whiskyambitions.com, which is, at that time, a site that just sold a few of our t-shirts and some rocks glasses. But it was during that time that we sort of figured out what we could do with all of these bottles.
Yes, but we had to put those ideas on the back burner for a while because our fulfillment area was not big enough for that project.
Fulfillment area.
Our fulfillment area was actually just over there right off camera. You can't see it and we won't allow you to.
No, don't turn it around.
So we needed more space.
That's right, and eventually we did. We moved things out of our shooting space into its own dedicated home, and then that's when we bought some equipment so we could do some serious bottle cutting.
And we got to work.
Welcome to Whiskey Ambitions. Still only a two-person operation, but now at least we have our own footprint in which to work in.
That's right. Now, I've been making candles for a little over a year now, but we finally have the space and the tools so that we can cut up all of our old bottles and upcycle them into these beautiful new candles.
Speaking of whiskyambitions.com, this episode brought to you by whiskyambitions.com.
Has it all been an ad?
It's just one big product integration,
one big ad.
Sarah. No.
It's adception.
Adception. But that's where you can get, the t-shirts and hoodies and hats and coins and glassware, and now, bottle cut candles.
That's right.
And more always coming soon. We're in whiskyambitions.com.
You can also become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. That is where we exclusively release our barrel picks and after the episode content, like another round with Chad and Sarah.
Okay, we've got some orders to go fill, so if you'll excuse us.
And now, empty bottle story time with Chad.
So here we are in a part of the set that we normally don't show. This is right below the stair-step bar. These are the cabinets, and each cabinet has its own purpose. One of them down there is what we call the Island of Misfit Whiskeys, where we put things that we really don't care for and we don't really ever talk about. We've gotten some requests for it though, so if you'd really like to see an episode about what we keep, let us know and maybe we'll do it. But I'm gonna talk to you about this one right here, which holds some special empty bottles. This was my first bottle of Four Roses, what we would call now as yellow label or tan label, because it's actually changed a few times since then. This was what Four Roses looked like back then. Beautiful, yet so very out of date, but still beautiful. So I saved this probably to remind myself to buy another bottle, or then I noticed that they changed the bottle and I was like, well, it's not full or anything, but I at least need to save this empty. The back is even embossed. Beautiful. I wish I had one that was full that was in this bottle, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep it, that's what you're gonna do. Who remembers when Russell's Reserve looked like the inside of a station wagon with the faux wood? This was my very first bottle of Russell's Reserve 10-year. And again, I just had to keep it. Probably like when you read a book, a really long book, you put it up on the bookshelf. It's sort of like an accomplishment, right? So this was my accomplishment, that I had bought this bourbon, I drank it, and it was my little empty trophy. Evan Williams Black Label, the bourbon that started it all for me, and for Sarah too. 7-year age stated and 90 proof. Does anyone else remember this? Because honestly, I don't remember when it switched proofs or when the age statement got dropped, but here it is, a little piece of empty history. My first ever Blanton's was a pick, a Liquor Barn pick. This was from 2009, and I mean, you can't blame me for not getting rid of a Blanton's bottle. Your first Blanton's bottle, I feel like that's just a special time in a boy's life, right? Look how loose stopper is, look at the horse go. Remember when you get Johnny Drum green label? This was what, the 80 proof, and then they had the black label that was 86 proof, and of course the 101. I had to keep this guy, green label Johnny Drum. There's more in here, but I don't want to bore you guys. Let's get back to it.
This has been Empty Bottle Story Time. So what else can you do with your empty bottles? Well, as we said before, you can make this lovely light fixture back here, or you can do a table lamp. Tiki torches are some of my favorites. Now, be warned on that one, anytime there's fire involved. I don't know that it's my advice you want to be taking, but there are plenty of videos out there on the internet for that.
Sure.
That project. You can make a planter out of an empty bourbon bottle. You can do just a plain old vase or some drinking glasses.
Yeah, drinking glasses, you're going to have to really get into the sanding and smoothing and polishing.
We haven't gone there yet.
Yeah, but if you want to do that, just know.
Especially with the little mini bottles.
It's going to touch your lips. You need to get that sanded down. But I think the beautiful thing about upcycling a bottle is you're really going from the entire, the
life cycle.
Circle of life, right? You get it, you pop it, you pour it until it's empty, and then and yes, you could recycle that. Just put it in your recycle, do recycled reviews like Rowan Akavite does. Or you can continue its life and keep it in the home, but as a candle or whatever you're doing. So we see it as the whole circle of life.
Extending the life of a bottle, if you will.
We like doing it, yeah. Now, you might be saying, I don't go through bottles very quickly, or I want to get more bottles. Do you have any suggestions? And yes, there are ways to go about it.
We connect with our local bourbon society, and there's people in there that will save some empties for us and pass them along occasionally, which is nice. But if you're, have some favorite local bars and restaurants, you can always ask them. They do go through a lot of bottles in a week, so you can ask them to hang on to some empties for you. Now, they won't always say yes, and they might say yes, but.
If you're like, hey, there's one shot left in that Pappy Van Winkle bottle. If I buy that shot, will you let me keep the bottle? Now, they might say, sure. That happened to us a couple years ago, but that was a couple years ago. They should say, no, I'm sorry, we can't. What they're supposed to do with that bottle is destroy it. Throw it in the trash to where it breaks. Why? Because it's such a beautiful bottle?
Why? We want to make a candle out of it, Chad.
Counterfeiters. Yeah, counterfeit Pappy and
it's a real thing.
BTAC and other LEs are a thing. You can go home, fill it up with cheap bourbon, reseal it to where it looks
with
like
magic.
It's factory new.
Factory sealed.
And then sell it on the secondary for $2,500, $3,000, whatever it is, depending on the expression. So
we can't be mad at them for wanting to protect us from that.
Yeah. If you do want to give us Pappy bottles, that we'll be making candles out of them. But
we will be honest and truthful with what we do.
That's right.
And they will be cut so that they can never be counterfeited.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Once you cut it, you can't refill
It's
it.
gone. So now you've seen what we do with our empty bottles. You may be wondering about the ones that are, still partially filled. And for that, yes, we are doing another collection video, studio tour, if you will, coming very soon. We'll get more in depth on certain bottles because you guys have been asking for that.
We'll do it.
Yeah. And there you go. That'll do it for us. If you haven't subscribed to us already, you can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay. Until next time, drink more bourbon.